Or actually, yeah, let's just dive into it. Okay, so today we are making it's the official announcement of the new brand name. So if you haven't seen this yet, if you haven't heard about this yet, I'm assuming you know because it's in the title of the fucking podcast. But please do me a favor. There is a couple links in the show notes of this podcast. The first one being the video we just launched. Please do me a huge favor. Head over to Facebook, share it, Instagram, YouTube, like any way, email it to your friend, text it to your friend. I really want people to see this, and I want people to understand our message. There is no sales pitch in this video, so it's not a gimmick or anything like that. I just want to spread this message. So please do me a favor and share that video. The second thing is go check out our website. The website is live. That's why we're recording this podcast and talking about this rebrand. And it's epic.
It's beautiful.
It's fucking beautiful. I'm so happy with it. It's been literally this whole entire rebrand and new website has been a 6 to 8 month process that we've been like working on and dealing with lawyers and trademarks and dialing in every little. I mean, you saw the list of notes that I had by the time this airs last week of like all the little things that needed to be changed on the website. Like it's like unbelievable how much attention to detail I have. Very precise with the content. And the whole goal with it was to give you guys a better experience. So now when you check out podcasts, when you check out videos, when you check out blogs, when you want to learn more about our coaching, when you want to learn more about our coaches, when you want to check out the FAQ page, it's extremely easy to view and absorb the content we're providing. We literally invested a ton of money and time into the site just to make your user experience of accepting content, I guess, free content at that, better. Like that was the whole purpose of the podcast. I hired people to just make it more user-friendly. So I'm super excited about that, but please do me a favor, go check out the website, and then please go share that video. And today what you're going to listen to is kind of a bunch of things. Like Travis has a list of questions to ask me regarding this whole entire thing, but essentially we're rebranding. We're changing Boom Boom Performance. Now, the one thing that will stay is A, my nickname. I don't think I'm ever going to get away from Cody Boom Boom. And B, the podcast. The podcast will forever be Boom Boom Performance Podcast because I am the host. This is my podcast, and it'll stay that way.
I think that's good, man, because a lot of people relate to you and want to listen to this podcast because of you.
100%. And the cool thing I like about Andreas was the one that like made me think of it like this, was that now Boom Boom Performance can be much more than coaching, right? Like, so like the tailored coaching method, like that is our coaching. Like that's our method of what we do.
That's the new brand name.
That's the new brand name, which will be in the title so they know.
Yeah.
But that's literally our mission statement. It's what we do. It's our process. It's what we've created. It's how we help people. But Boom Boom Performance now doesn't have to be that. Like before, Boom Boom Performance was the coaching. Right now, to me, it's like, okay, what can we turn this podcast into? How do we help your body? How do we help your mind? How do we help your relationships? How do we help you connect with people better? How do we help your personal development, your business success? Like we can kind of take Boom Boom Performance and expand it to so many other things other than just training and nutrition.
So many different aspects of fitness and training.
Yeah, and just life, right?
Yeah.
And now we can kind of turn this podcast into something like last week we interviewed Andreas and we didn't talk about fitness.
Yeah.
But that's what's cool. That was still Boom Boom Performance, right? So like I'm excited about that. So that'll stay the same no matter what. But the brand, the coaching is tailored coaching method.
Dope. You're gonna get on. I mean, maybe not right away, but are you eventually gonna get guests on here that are not completely revolved around fitness or nutrition?
Yeah, that's honestly, it's always been my goal because I love, so two of my favorite, I would say
I knew you were going with
this. The two podcasts that have had the most influence on me inside of podcasting is, comes to no surprise, Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And then the second one is Mind Pump.
Yeah.
And I watched Mind Pump go from all they talked about was what they knew, which was like bodybuilding and training clients, to let's talk a little bit more about nutrition. Let's talk about stress management. Let's have some doctors on here.
Yeah.
And then it was like, whoa, this guy wrote a book on Indistractable, for example, is one of the people they which is like, how do I stay distracted and not get distracted from social media? Like that was the podcast topic. And then there was a comedian on there. It was like, this is entertainment. So for me, like,
that's huge.
At the end of the day, Q&As, the topics, like we do 4 episodes a week now. There's always going to be training and nutrition as like our backbone.
Absolutely.
But I've always wanted to steer it in that way. And I think I was waiting until we grew the podcast to a place where I had the right to kind of expand outside of just training and nutrition. And I do think we're getting that point. I mean, we're like 370 episodes in.
Yeah.
We're about to hit 1 million downloads soon. cross my fingers, hopefully really soon. And I think we're getting to that point where we can start expanding outside of that. And that's my goal, is like, who can we interview? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even like, so when we go to events, who's going to be at that event, or who's in that city, right? Like, I want to start bringing this shit with us and doing that, which is something we'll probably do in the later half of the year when we can actually plan trips a little bit better and be like, okay, like, we're going for this day. Let's go a day or two early, drive an hour and interview XYZ because they're in that city or relatively close.
Yeah.
So yeah, the plan with this is definitely to expand out, but keep the backbone as training and nutrition.
For sure. All right, let's get into it. So my first question is, straight up, why tailored coaching method?
So this, to me, is like basically been something I've been saying for literally years now.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a term for it. It was always, oh, I'm going to tailor this for you, or I want to tailor this approach to you, or I'm going to individualize this approach. This is individualized coaching. And I think for me, like, there's a few things behind this. Number one is I created Boom Boom Performance as a blog. And if we kind of go into the origin story of that, it's like, it literally was something where I was in college and I was interning as a strength coach. And I was writing on medium.com, which for those of you listening, it's like a free blog that it's like Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Wikipedia in the sense that people can sign up for Medium and you can write blogs for them. And if they accept them, you have a published blog, but you don't have a site. And it's a really cool way to attract engagement and new listeners and just practice writing and publishing. So I started doing that. I started writing for the gym I was working at's blog. I started writing for the school newspaper in the fitness column. And I was like, I want to start my own thing, because I love this. And at the time, my blog was called befitlivegreat.weebly.com. Super long, super horrible. And I didn't have the funds to pay for my own URL at the time. Like, even back then, I was like, because I was working for free, I didn't even want to spend $15 on a URL. So, but eventually I did. So I changed the name to boomboomperformance.com, got somebody to design a website. And I was like, I'm an in-person trainer. I'm a personal trainer. That's my passion. Online coaching wasn't a thing. So let me build this blog to just teach people, because the reason I finally was educated enough to change my body was from people like Christian Thibodeau, Jason Ferrugia, Nate Green, John Berardi, even bodybuilding.com back then, a lot of T-Nation stuff. I was going on these forums, I was reading these free blogs, and I was learning how to transform my body, and I wanted to pay it forward. So I started this blog, and that literally was it for years. It was just a blog, and it gained traction, All the members were reading it. People outside of the state were reading it. And it actually wasn't until there was two people that really influenced this. And one person, you're going to laugh because you know them. One person's name was Katie. She lived in New York, and she wanted coaching, but she trusted what we did because she had been following the blog and my Facebook and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, sorry, like, you're shit out of luck. I'm in Washington. And she was like, well, could you write me programs? I'll PayPal you. Yeah, I could do that. She PayPal'd me. I wrote her program. I saw her progress, and she stayed with me for over a year. And I was like, this is fucking cool. The second person was Kevin Knutson. Kevin Knutson hit me up. He would Venmo me, and I would write him programs. Mm-hmm. He was with me for years. I was doing all of his training and nutrition for a long time. And I was just very under the table. Venmo.
Shout out Kevin.
Shout out to Kevin. For those of you who don't know, like, Kevin's younger brother was my best friend since I was a little kid, and he ended up going to the Navy, which he is now still. But I've known their family for fucking well over a decade. It's crazy. But I was doing his stuff, and then I kind of started seeing people like Lane Norton and the 3DMJ guys. They were all starting to do online coaching. And then I got into physique competition, competing, did my show. That's when I fell in love with nutrition, because I saw the impact nutrition can have on your physique. And then I binged and fell off and gained a bunch of weight. So I had to learn how to reverse diet, and I kind of learned about the hormonal side. So I really started diving into the science throughout this process, and I started writing more about the science. As I started writing more about the science, I started learning about how individualized this approach was. Because going through a competition setting with a very generic meal plan, you'll learn that it's not tailored to you whatsoever. It's a meal plan, and you just eat. And when you're not losing weight, they say, hey, pull the oats out of meal 4, and you pull the oats and you lose more weight. It's just a calorie deficit. But I started diving into natural bodybuilding. I started diving into the science, and started signing up for research reviews, and started actually looking at PubMed and these different things, and reading literal textbooks, physiology textbooks and stuff like that. And I just realized how complex the human body was. And I was like, this needs to take a completely different toll. Right now I'm coaching boot camps, it's all group fitness. That's what's popular. But I wanted to steer down this path of online coaching and having an individual relationship with people. So this blog, over the course of 3 or 4 years of doing that became that. And I started taking on clients, and it kind of just spun into what it is today. 8 years later, now we have hundreds of clients that work with us every month. We have hundreds of members in the elite that we're doing training for. We have individual clients that we do training for. I coach two people in the WWE now. Shout out to Chad Gable. Shout out to Bailey. We have worked with pro fighters. We have worked with pro athletes. We work with a lot of high-level CrossFitters. I have a few that are in the CrossFit Games. It's just getting to a level that's pretty crazy. And we have mom and dads, teachers, college students that are athletes. We have professional athletes. We have this wide spectrum of people that are all with us because they want individualized coaching. Not only that, but we have a team, and we just added one. I actually just sent her first client today before this podcast. So shout out to Haley.
Yeah.
She's officially starting with us, and she is studying, and she's actually a protein researcher. And if I butcher that or I didn't do that justice, let me know, Haley. But she's in the labs, which is really cool to have somebody in the labs who will have a very high level of qualification, knowledge, and be a registered dietitian and stuff on the team. But now we have me, Caroline, Lisa, Adam, and Haley all coaching, 5 coaches that are coaching people in Australia. We have a client in Hong Kong, Japan, Slovenia, Italy, New Zealand. We have people in all over Europe, Germany, London, so on and so forth. We have a coach in Germany, coach in London, coach in Florida, coach in Colorado. We have clients all over this country. We have a client in Mexico, we have a client in Puerto Rico, client in Canada. Like, they're everywhere. It's crazy. So back to the whole idea of this question, why tailored coaching method, I realized 2 things. One, this is way more than me. Boom Boom Performance is nicknamed after me. I started as a blog. I was like, I want to journal my journey. I want to have like some kind of online diary to share what I'm doing. And this is a good way to do it. What should I name it? Everybody calls me Boom Boom. Boom Boom Performance.
Yeah.
Simple, easy. I don't want any employees. My original plan was to travel the world. And I was young. Travel the world, live in Airbnbs throughout the year. So like hopping from one to one, 3 months at a time, and make money off of my blog. How I would make money? No idea. But it was like, I'm going to work by blogging and I'm going to travel. Like, that was my whole thing. But the whole point of that, me telling you that, is that there was no team.
Yeah.
There was nothing. And then as this shit grew and I realized, I'm chaos. I'm a mess. I don't have organization. I don't have systems. I need help. Bring in Tori. Can you help me like organize this? She's like, this doesn't make any sense. She helps me organize things, my scheduling, my clients, my calls. Everything started being more efficient. My systems more efficient. Even my systems with my clients, she would look at them and be like, this doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm like, oh, well, it makes sense to me. It's like, well, how are you going to bring on a team of coaches if it only makes sense to you? This isn't teachable. I'm like, it's a good point. So we had to redo my systems. Now I have more time. I can handle more clients. I can do more work. I'm affecting more people. I can create more content. Get up to about 100 clients, too much. Burnt out, can't manage my content, can't do all these things. Enter Travis. Travis comes in. Let me help you make content. You were even like, I'll show you for 90 days for free. Just let me show you what I can do. And it's actually funny because I remember being like, dude, this is dope. And now I look at that shit and I'm like,
this is horrible.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
We're so much better now, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But like, enter Travis. Okay, cool. Now I can manage these 100
I need
clients.
to go delete those videos.
Get them off the web. But now I can manage these 100 clients because all I have to do is client work.
Yeah.
Because Tori's helping my schedule, my calendar, the billing, the admin stuff. You're helping all my media. Like, this is perfect. But what about more people? Like, I want to affect more than 100 people.
Yeah.
Enter Courtney. Courtney comes on board. She gets up to like 50, 60 clients. Courtney ended up leaving because she decided to be a full-time mom instead. Mad respect for it.
Yeah.
She still helps me out to this day. I was actually just
Courtney.
emailing her. Love her to death. And then enter Caroline. And then enter Lisa. Then enter Adam. Now enter Haley. Like, and now we're growing and we have these Facebook groups. We have the elite. We have these clients. We have hundreds of members. We have thousands of people that we've helped over the years. And it's like, Boom Boom Performance is me. Like, this is so much fucking more than me because I don't make this spin. All the people involved with it makes it spin. I'm blessed to be kind of like at the podium, you know what I mean? Like, being the coach or the leader. But at the end of the day, like, I can't do all this without you. I can't do my life without Tori. I can't do the coaching without the girls and Adam. And it just got to a point where, like, and then all the members, like, I can't do any of this without the members, the followers, the audience, the people reading my emails, the people reading our books. Can't do any of this shit without Shannon. Yeah. Blakely was the biggest driver. So I just really started kind of like journaling and thinking about it. And I kept having this urge to change the name because it almost like a sense of guilt. Like I was like, I
see it.
I don't feel right nicknaming this, what this has become, this movement after myself. You know what I mean? This tribe. So that was the first reason. And the second reason is I wanted something that described exactly what we do. So to me, one, individualization is cool. It doesn't sound cool as a company name. And two, it's bastardized. It's like infant fit your macros. Everybody's individualized now, which I don't agree with. I think a lot of people take that term and use it as a buzzword to sell things, but they're not truly individualized in their process. I'm very, very grounded by that term, and I feel very attached to it. So I take offense to like when I see bullshit in the media hurting people in the industry, and they're saying it's individualized,
leading them astray.
Yeah. And then the second part with that in the name is that like I'll never forget. So it was 2017. I was going to Warrior Con, which is a Wake Up Warrior event, and part of admission is you have to wear a black and white tuxedo.
Dope.
Like Men in Black, like you can't get in without a white shirt, black tie, like the full nine. I was like, I don't own a fucking tuxedo. I'm a trainer. I'm going to go buy one. So I bought the most expensive tuxedo I've ever bought in my life, custom fitted to me. It was dope, dude. Hugo Boss, everything with a Ted Baker shirt. Like it was like, for lack of better terms.
It was? You don't have it anymore?
No, I still have it.
Oh, okay.
But like, it was one of those purchases where you're like, ooh,
yeah,
that hurt.
Yeah.
Especially in 2017, I was like, I'm still coming up. I was
Yeah.
like, man, but like, it felt good.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
I came back to put it on, and it was like, it fit me so fucking well. And the experience of being able to have a tailor measure me and fit me and bring this custom suit and then walk into that building wearing that suit, especially when you see other guys not wearing a fitted suit, I was like, man, I feel good.
Yeah.
I just want to wear this all the time.
Yeah.
And so like, and Shannon's even told me no a couple times. I'm like, oh, we're going to dinner. I'm going to wear my tuxedo. She's like, no. Like, we're going to fucking the Rams. Stop.
Let's go.
I'm just saying, not the Rams. But even like, I think I tried to wear it to El Gaucho, and I was like, come on, it's El Gaucho.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, but a tuxedo? You're not James Bond. It's like, all right, I won't. But no, like that process felt so good, and it was custom fit to me. And so like that describes what we do so well, because I'm like, man, it's custom, it's individualized, it's tailored to you. It feels fucking good. It's going to suit you for life. And the point of that is it's lasting. It's sustainable. It's the nicest tux I ever have. It's not going to be like, it's not a one-time wear. Like, I'm going to be able to repeat and wear this shit as long as I don't get too jacked to wear it, which hopefully I do. But the point is it lasts a long time. And most importantly, it's a luxury service.
Yeah.
And that's like the thing, like icing on the cake. And that's part of the reason why black is some of our colors, because black is a symbol of premium, elite, luxury. If you look into like the sales of marketing and colors. But that's my whole point with this. Like, not only is it individualized, it's custom, it's going to last a really long time, because in our coaching, it's sustainable. You understand what you're doing, but it's really fucking nice.
Yeah.
It is better service than you are going to get anywhere else. And we stand by that because we're really, really passionate about connection, communication. Even I had a talk with our interns not long ago. Grammar and punctuation. If it's not fucking perfect in your emails, it's not up to par. It's like, why would that have anything to do with coaching? Because we want to display our perfect expression through email. We want you to know how we actually feel. And commas, exclamation points, spaces, paragraphs, those things matter, and those things provide detail. Not to mention we put a ton of in-depth detail into our descriptions and our specific conversations about coaching, education, carbs, protein, like how we're explaining things. But that's a completely different topic. But the point with that being is, it's custom, it's individualized, it's going to last a long time, and it is a premium service. And because of that, tailored came about. And then it's a method.
Yeah.
It's tailored, it's coaching, and it's our method. This is how we do it. And I wanted to coin that and trademark that term because it's important for me to have people understand that this is our method, and we stand by that. There's a lot of people who say they're tailored. There's a lot of people who say they're individualized. But like, we own that word now. We own this tailored coaching method now. This is our brand. It's blasted on the wall almost, because February 3rd they're installing it. But the point being is like, it's what we do. This is our method. This is our system. This is how we do it, and we stand by that. We believe in it, and it represents us and our team. And it was only right for me to change the name because it can't be named after me. I know that was a long-winded answer.
No, that's awesome, man. I love it.
That kind of is like the backbone or the meaning behind like why I've been wanting to do this. And I've been thinking about it for a long fucking time.
Yeah. And you built it up to what it is today, man. You should be proud.
I am, man. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I still like. There's still moments where I'm like, it's a fucking dream.
Yeah.
I mean, there's stress. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, people listening, like, I'm happy as fuck, but there's, I think, a lot of people who can look and be like, man, it would be great. Wouldn't it be nice? I hate that term. Wouldn't it be nice? It's like,
make it happen.
Yeah. First of all, yeah, make it happen. Just do something. But second of all, nobody sees the years of shit going behind the scenes, or like, oh, that's a cool website. Wouldn't that be nice to have? You guys have no idea what I've put into this website to try to make it work and get it to work. And the lawyers' conversations and the lawyer fees and all these things to change the name and all these things, because it's so meaningful for me. There's always more behind the scenes. And that goes, I mean, for every area of life. Your body, your relationships, everything. Nothing's as good as it seems on Instagram. But we're always moving up. Yeah. We're always improving.
Definitely.
But yeah.
Love it, man. So I want to go into depth on both sides of the spectrum. But so why is it so important to tailor a diet program?
So I'll start with a list. So I think this is like very important because, like, how old are you? How tall are you? What is your diet history like? That's something a lot of people don't think about. Your metabolic history. How many diets have you done in the past? What kind of diets were they? What worked? What didn't work? How long do you stay on those diets? How fatigued is your body from those diets? The list goes on. What's your hormonal profile like? How much muscle tissue do you have? How much body fat do you have? What's our timeline to work together? What lifestyle roadblocks do you have? What kind of stresses do you have in your life? I mean, I could literally just keep going on and on, like health markers, insulin sensitivity. Like, we can just keep adding things on. How many meals a day do you like to eat?
Non-negotiables.
Yeah, non-negotiables. Yeah. I was talking to somebody today that is going to be working with Haley, and I asked her, like, you got to, like, let us know your non-negotiable. Like, you have a wine night or something like that. Like, this is my non-negotiable. This one. Okay, we'll build the diet around that. Right. So I think, like, at the end of the day, like, why it's so important is because it sounds funny, but everybody's unique. Everybody's kind of like a special little snowflake. You know what I mean? Like, we all have different levels of stress, different levels of hormones, different types of training, different energy expenditure. We all get different amounts of sleep and different quality of sleep. I mean, for me, like, I am typically a high stress personality type. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but just like sympathetic drive is usually high, which means cortisol is going to be higher. That's going to determine the type of diet I follow, which is usually going to be a higher carb diet. It's going to work better for me. I train 4 days a week. I do cardio 3 days a week. I have one full rest day. I have a 1.5-year-old daughter. I got to push for 7 hours of sleep. I'm married. I own a business. I have tried every diet under the sun. I've been doing this for almost a decade. Like, if I keep adding these things on, now we can say, like, okay, how resilient is his body going to be? How stubborn is his body going to be based on his metabolic and dietary history? What is the adaptive nature of his metabolism? He's got high stress. How are his testosterone levels? What kind of training is he doing? Like, once we start factoring all these things in, it starts kind of determining how, like, even the simple stuff. How much protein does he need? How much carbs does he need? When are we timing those carbs? How important are those carbs? Is there any reason to cycle those carbs? Does he need more frequent diet breaks? Does he need any diet breaks? Does he have a timeline? Do we get to look at a calendar year and periodize this process? How hard is he actually going in his training? Because somebody who has been training for a decade has a different level of output and force versus somebody who's been training for a year. And they have a different level of recoverability. So their output is higher and their recovery demands are higher. Yeah. Somebody who's been training for a year, they don't have the skill to output as much in the gym, which is normal. It's a neurological adaptation. But they also don't need as many deloads or diet breaks. They can handle more. Mm-hmm. So as we start going through these factors, we can kind of determine, okay, maybe this individual is going to work best with 4 meals per day, spread out every 4 hours with a post-workout shake, starting about halfway through the workout so we get some intra-workout carbs. He needs carbs in every meal because his stress and cortisol are high. He needs lower fat around training and moderately low fat in the other one, so it's a generally low-fat diet. He can handle more protein than necessary because he is advanced. He doesn't have gut issues. He needs this much fruit, this much sodium, this much water. This is how much he's sleeping. This is how long I want you to wait after sleep to eat. Like, we can, the range of specificity in a diet is determined by 2 things. A, how complex is the individual? I am a complex individual because I have more things going on in my life and I have been doing this longer. So the longer you've been trying to change your physique or your strength or your performance, the more complex things are going to be because your body's not going to adapt as easily. Like, for you, because you trained with me for a good amount of time and you took a long break from, like, really being into it, I can make a few tweaks and you'll respond like that.
Yeah.
You make a couple tweaks with me, and you ain't gonna see shit because I'm constantly in. You know what I mean? So it takes more. The other side of that is the range of specificity depends on the level of adherence. So with you, like we talked about this, I was like, man, we're not doing any macros yet. Like I want you to start small. Like here's a couple fundamental habits that we're gonna work on. Once you lock those in, we see some results, then I'm gonna say, hey, I want you to hit this protein intake. Lock that in. Now I want you to hit these carbs and fats. Once you lock that in, let's talk about nutrient timing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can kind of step up this ladder. Now, somebody who's very advanced, I might say, here's your calories, here's your macros. Every 10 days, we're taking this diet break for 3 days long. This is how I want that to look. Here's how many meals a day would be ideal. So on the days you can plan, hit these numbers in these ranges for this spread out throughout your day. On days where you can't plan, just be flexible, hit your totals. Here's how much fruit and starch I want in your here's how much fat I want in your pre-workout versus post-workout. Here's the supplementation. Here's when you're taking those supplements. Here's how much sodium. Here's how much water. Like the need for specificity is determined by the individual's complexity, like I said, and we have this wide spectrum of somebody who's brand new that comes to us. I have a guy that lost 7 pounds in 2 weeks already, crushing it, nothing but calories, nothing at all. I was like, hey, try to eat real food, hit your calories. He's crushing it. That's going to stop.
Yeah.
And when it does, I'm going to say, hey, hit this protein intake.
Yeah.
Then that's going to stop. And then I'm going to say, hey, I want you to take your fish oil. Hey, I want you to eat 4 meals a day instead of 3. Like we're going to kind of break it down until we get more and more specific. And then we get the people who are, like I mentioned earlier, a WWE athlete or a CrossFit Games competitor. They're already at the end level of specificity, and I can give them all the nines. You know what I mean? Every little detail. So we have this range, and like why individuality or why tailoring this process to you matters is if I gave you my diet, you'd be like, dude, fuck this. I don't even know how to follow this.
Yeah.
Because my level of specificity is at a higher need than yours. Why give you something that specific when a small amount's gonna work, right? The minimal effective dose. So adherence is a big part of that. And the other thing is how complex is your life. I have somebody else who their stress levels are pretty high, so I would much rather give them a very easy diet. However, their complexity on a physiological level is crazy. Some autoimmune related issues, some gut related issues, extreme plateau, like not making any progress whatsoever. Stress levels through the roof. She actually has chronic high cortisol levels. That's why they came to me. And I'm like, okay, your range of specificity is high. I want you eating these exact foods. I want you eating at these times. This is how we're going to partition it. This is how I want you to monitor stress. Here's a journal. Write in this every day answering these questions. Here's your first book to read. Like it's very specific and it goes way beyond diet. But all of those things play back to making that diet more tailored to that individual.
Absolutely.
And again, going back to the beginning, like the whole point is that everybody is so unique and individual that they need an individual application.
Absolutely. And that's like why it's so important because, templates and stuff don't do that. They just, they give you your diet to everybody.
Exactly, man. And I remember like even with my physique show, like that's how it was. It was a template slightly adjusted to my body weight and height.
Yeah.
But it didn't factor in anything else. And for me, I had enough discipline and drive to do a show that I was like, I will do anything.
Yeah.
But it wrecked me because I hated dieting. I had body image issues afterwards. I gained a bunch of weight afterwards. Like it just fucked me.
There was no
I got shredded.
Yeah.
I got absolutely shredded. Most shredded I've ever been to this day. But it wrecked me mentally, emotionally. It wrecked my what I knew about dieting. And I had to like really do some self-work of being like, okay, why am I doing this? How do I reverse diet out of this? How do I recover my hormones? How do I get my mind back into the game? And it took me a long time to do that. But the better approach for that person wouldn't have been taking me on when I only had 12 weeks to prep for a show. Yeah. It would have been like, hey, I'll do it if you take 24 weeks. Do a different show. There's shows every 3 months. We're going to spend 3 weeks building your foundation, and then we'll spend 3 weeks dieting, and I'm going to tailor it to you. Like, that would have been a better approach. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Right? And like, I've had that exact conversation with somebody. Oh, I want to do a photo shoot in 8 weeks. I'm like, hey, let's do it in 16. What? And like, that's me risking not getting paid, but doing what's right.
Yeah.